All right, I think everybody's here, so I will call this meeting to order. It's 5:32, and I will start really quickly by taking roll. Heather Holbert here. Jeffrey Blackard. Here. Stephen May. Here. Representative for State Senator Chewy.
That's me, I'm here.
Thank you. Mr. David Walker.
Here.
John Hardy.
Here.
Steve Moody.
Here.
Okay, and a quorum of the committee is here, so we can proceed. I'd like to start by welcoming everyone to this incredibly exciting meeting. Thank you for arranging schedules, making it possible for everyone to attend this. I know everyone is excited about this. I think this is a historic, exciting milestone, and it's an absolute honor to be a part of it. So without any further ado, we'll move on to public comment, if we have any in the audience. Seeing none, as this is our first meeting, we do not have minutes. I do not see a financial report included at this first meeting. So the next item, we will go to the agenda item, and it is a motion approving the Barisi Village Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 6 Project and Financing Plan.
Hi, good afternoon, Chairwoman Paxton. My name is Arturo Marquez, also members of the board. Arturo Marquez, Director of the Office of Economic Development. And as Councilwoman here is saying, this is really a historic moment for the first meeting for TIRZ number 6. So it's an honor to be here and essentially just start off this TIRZ number 6 into action. As part of the process for the TIRZ or any TIRZ, the board itself does have to approve a preliminary, or at least a project and financing plan. So what we're here to do today is to go over that project and financing plan with the board, and upon your approval, we'll then take this to City Council for their approval, and it must then pass through 2 readings. So the presentation that you're about to see essentially is going over what is in your package, just simplified in a more visual form, but nonetheless, all the information should still be the same. So without further ado, I do want to just start off with, what is a tax increment reinvestment zone? And essentially what it is a tool that governments use in order to reintroduce the funding that is generated through increment for a specific boundary. And we use that funding to essentially reimburse developers as they make projects and as they add additional value to the land. The purpose of this particular TIRZ is to finance the reimbursement of infrastructure-related projects, and of course, Barisi Village is envisioned as a fully featured, publicly accessible, and beneficial European-style village. Now, the creation of a TIRZ, you do have to meet a criteria. Now, what allows a city or a county to create a tax increment reinvestment zone is through the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 311. Now, under Chapter 311.005, you do have to meet some of the criteria. This particular TIRZ was generated using 5 of these criteria that are listed here. One of them is that it is a predominance of the effective and inadequate sidewalk, or it does have a predominance of effective and inadequate sidewalk and street layout. It does have unsanitary or unsafe conditions. There is deterioration of the site and other improvements. There is defective or unusual conditions of title. And the conditions, there are conditions that endanger life or property by fire or other cause. So those are the main reasons why this particular TIRZ was generated. Now, when we talk about the specific boundaries of it, we are talking about just a little bit less than 127 acres, and it is owned by one single entity, one single owner. This, of course, is known as the Barisi Village Tax Increment Reinvestment Number 6. The development is broken down into 5 different phases. It includes a plethora of different developments, from multifamily housing, from townhomes, single family. There is a thought of a hotel going in there, between 100 and 120 different rooms. And of course, a par 3 golf course and different amenities that I will go over in the different slides. The proposed development, as I mentioned, does include a village plazas, a bell tower, a wedding chapel, and some event space. Just over 1,300 multifamily units, a little bit over 350 single-family homes. As I mentioned, the hotel between 100 and 120 rooms. And additionally, roughly about 200,000 square feet of retail space with that Par 3 golf course included under, with additional sport courts and nature preserve. The intent of this TIRZ is to be built out within the next 10 to 12 years, and it is anticipated to have an estimated value of anywhere between 800 million and 1 billion at the completion of the development. Now, the development has requested project reimbursements under these different categories. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but I am going to name them as we will go through some of these in a later slide. So some of these include the structured parking, some landscaping, wayfinding signage and lighting, traffic and street improvements, parks and fountains, public restrooms, village-style public plaza and towers, supplemental public safety, nature preserve and walking trails, public sewage, storm, and water infrastructure. Now, the eligible public improvements do equate to roughly a little over $60 million. However, the contribution of each agency that participates in this TIRZ, which is the city, the county, and Del Mar College, are maxed out to contribute only $52 million. Now, with that said, we're going to go into the different phases, one out of the five. So phase number one, we're going to go, and just for mapping purposes, phase number one is intended to begin right off of Ennis Jocelyn. And phase number one does include roughly about 345 multifamily units. This is where the hotel is intended to be built. There is one restaurant, roughly about 6,000 square feet anticipated, with an addition of 2 stores at roughly about 15,000 square feet of retail. This is the first mention of the garage, parking garage, with estimated 400 spaces, a chapel, a plaza, a bell tower, 2 lakes, and some banquet space. Phase number two gets a little bit more deeper into the development, and this is, where the old golf course starts getting into use. And here we still have an additional multifamily units of 345. Now we start adding sports courts of 12, an additional parking garage of 450 spaces, a clubhouse, a 12,000 square foot clubhouse, a lazy river pool. This is, as I mentioned, the golf course, the Par 3 golf course. Roughly about 40 townhomes, walking paths, lakes, and a warehouse of roughly about 20,000 square feet. Okay, now on to phase number 3. Here we start looking into a little bit more of age-restricted units, roughly about 350 of them. 32 single-family lots. Again, an additional parking, additional parking but not parking garage, so additional parking of 400 spaces. Community room of 8,000 square feet, community gardens, 2 of them, and a waterside boardwalk, 2 of those. And then the last piece, on the phase number 4, we're now talking about 330 multifamily units, 25 single-family lots, 450 spaces with a garage parking, 2 community gardens, 2 boardwalks, 2 small groceries, roughly about 5,000 square feet each, 10,000 square feet of office space, 2 community parks, 1 lake, and 2 walking paths. And then finally, we arrive at phase number 5, which is essentially what we did is a full circle starting from Ennis Jocelyn up north and then ending just south of that. So on phase number 5, we're looking at 330 multifamily units, 20,000 square feet of retail space, 450 spaces within the parking garage, 85 townhomes, 1 community park, 2 waterside boardwalks, 1 5,000 square feet plaza, and 5,000 square feet of executive offices. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 agencies that will be participating in this tax increment reinvestment zone. The city and the county do have a waterfall effect starting in the year 2025. This was approved in 2024 by City Council, so that is going to be our best year, with 2025 being the first year of tax increment. The city and the county begin off at 95% and begin to trickle down in 2034 by 5% increments at first, at 90%, and then 10% each year after that, so 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. Now, with the Del Mar College, they will be only participating for 10 years, and they will be participating at 90% contribution. Okay. Here we have a table of the expected capture value on your, if we start off on the third column, this is where we see the anticipated tax revenue generated for the city of Corpus Christi, and the next column over is the anticipated contribution from the city at the different levels that I mentioned earlier. With that, it is expected for the city to contribute over the next 20 years roughly a little over $32 million. If we move over to the Nueces County side, the same thing, where the county is expected to contribute over the 20 years roughly a little bit over $12 million. And as I mentioned, Del Mar College only contributes for 10 years, so they are expected to contribute $6.7 million. Now, so what has happened up until now? So up until now, as I mentioned, the City Council did approve the creation of the TIRZ. So that happened back in October 15th of last year. The interlocal agreement between the city and the county was approved by City Council on 10/15. And the board members, of course, have been now appointed, which is why we are here today. So what is the next step, or what is happening? So as I mentioned, the board now has to adopt or approve a preliminary project and financing plan so that this can be taken up to the City Council for approval. And there does need to be an interlocal agreement finalized between the city and the Del Mar for their participation. Now, we've heard a verbal commitment from them, so we just need to essentially finalize it through an actual interlocal agreement, a signed interlocal agreement. And of course, the county and Del Mar College do need to appoint their members, just as you guys were chosen by the city and the developers. The other two agencies need to do the same for theirs. So once the interlocal has been approved and the City Council has approved the two readings for the project and financing plan, then at that point, the developer can come back and we can negotiate an agreement between the developer and the TIRZ. Okay? And with that, I complete the presentation and I open it up for any questions.
Thank you, Arturo. That was a fabulous presentation and a great summation of 57 pages that we got to read, so thank you for that.
For sure. For sure.
At this time, I will ask our committee if anyone has any questions or comments of Mr. Arturo. If you do, if you'll hit your button for me, I can turn your mic on. Okay. I think your mic is on. Go ahead.
All right, I have questions. In reading first of all, I want to know what the defective title was on the property.
The what, I'm sorry?
Defective title, you had that highlighted.
Or for the creation of the TIRZ?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on, let me go back. So the unusual conditions is really the more specific use for this tax increment reinvestment zone. So it's one or the other. It's either defective title or unusual conditions. In this particular case, the unusual conditions is the fact that it does have a PUD and that there are deed restrictions. So that makes it a little bit unusual for development to occur.
So the deed restrictions are that it has to be built as Barizi Village right now, as presented over the years. It's the village that has to be developed?
Yeah, the deed restrictions do limit the type of development that can happen within this piece of land.
Okay. And then you said it starts in 2025, but the
Correct.
Del Mar and county hasn't signed the agreement yet?
Correct, and that's something that we're working on currently.
The county has signed the agreement. The county has signed the agreement, so we have that already signed and approved by both the county and the city as well. And what we're waiting on is the Del Mar College agreement, and there's been verbal commitment there. We just we're working on reducing that to writing and getting that approved by both the college and the city.
What's taking that so long? I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
I think they have their own analysis, and we did too.
They're okay with it though? So there's just not an agreement?
It's
prepared?
our understanding.
The board has approved it, we just haven't gotten to the agreement stage yet. That doesn't prohibit anything going forward with the zone. The zone's already been created, and as of right now, there's been no increment created within the zone, and so we've got, it's not holding anything up to not have their commitment in yet.
Okay, but we burned up 6 months already. As far as the developers and this 10-year TIRZ, we're already in July.
Understood, but I mean, this isn't.
It's going to take them, I mean, I'm just sitting here just looking at it. If it takes them, it's going to take them time to get everything prepared. So you could burn up a year of your 10 years.
I think what it sounds like, they were also waiting ostensibly for us to review this plan and to get that approval from here so it can move forward to council. And it sounds like we've already been given the verbal. So do you have any kind of indication to our committee members' questions and concerns, any kind of indication as to when they may be able to finalize that agreement on their side?
I can certainly get back to you on a specific date once we have communication with them and as to when they can sign the interlocal agreement.
That's what I was wondering, is it, that's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? It's been over a year since I was down at Delmar and we all talked to them. I don't understand that holdup. But I say all that to say, we could be at the end of this year and we'd burn up 10% of the TIRZ timeline. Is there any way to reset that?
No.
When all the ducks are in a row, it seems like the timeline started, but all the ducks aren't in a row yet.
Yeah. Yeah, once the city council creates the TIRZ, essentially that starts the clock. I mean, as Heather mentioned.
Is there any leeway in that? Is that even possible to say, now that everything is in line, we're going to start the 10-year?
So the Delmar not signing their agreement hasn't necessarily held anything up, per se. The TIRZ was created at the end of October of '24. We had challenges getting the board together. We finally have the board together. We've been working with the developer on the development agreement. As soon as we have the project and financing plan approved by City Council, we can then execute the development agreement. At that point, the developer can begin. So it's more of just a kind of a legal, getting that final document finalized. I was in touch with the Delmar attorney a couple of weeks ago, and so we are trying to get that moved forward more quickly.
Okay.
So you don't think it's, at this point, from what I'm hearing, the TIRZ is established, that's done. This, what we're discussing and possibly approving tonight, that's that green light. It needs to go to council, and once their approval, that final stamp, the project can move forward. We'll get that last approval from Delmar. And if you could, like our committee member said, any kind of guesstimation, if you could reach out and get some kind of a timeline, and then correspond with the board on what you hear from that'd
Absolutely.
be helpful.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's
Any
all.
other questions?
So far.
So I want to clarify. The timeline is a calendar timeline. It's not a amount of time. So when we are burning time is what reimbursement time right now. Is that right? Okay.
Couple of months, yes. So,
Okay. All right. I just wanted to be clear on that.
yes. Yeah. Once it's created, so 2024 was our base year. So in essence, the increment begins with the first tax year that has value, which would be the value as of 1/1/25. So tax year, so this current tax year.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, what does that do for y'all as the developers? How do you feel about it? I'm sitting up here fighting for another year. Are you okay? Is 9 years enough?
Just a thing, that's only for Delmar. Everybody else is participating
No, I know,
for
but
20
the
years.
timeline is burnt.
Yeah.
So we've already burned up a lot of months, and I don't think it's going to happen quick. Nothing happens quick. So if I'm sitting here and I thought I had 10 years, and now I've got 9 years maybe, I just wonder what they're thinking.
It's a good point. Yes, thank you.
I think the easy thing is that the Del Mar is only 10 years. So yes, 9 years of that. It's a smaller component. It's not as high of a reimbursement. The city and the county go for 20, and so we will still have 19 years. And then honestly, during the first few years, so it's all based off the taxes that are paid off the parcels. Those numbers don't go up the first couple of years. You really start getting into the reimbursement area when you get into that years 5 through 10 is really the big years. Losing 1 year of Del Mar on the back end, it does, to some extent hurt the project. If the project is going the way everybody wants it to go, there is the capability of extending that because of any delay, so there could be requested later on. But at this point, it's not hampering the project.
Okay.
Very good questions and discussions on that. Thank you for the clarification on y'all's end. Does anybody have any other questions or comments on the presentation of Arturo? Do we have any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, if that is all for Mr. Arturo, then the next step on this plan, that's what we're discussing here with his presentation. So any questions or further deliberations on the entire plan, this would be the appropriate spot. If not, the next step, if everyone has read over and is comfortable and confident with the plan, the next step would be entertaining a motion to approve. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All right. All opposed? None. Then the motion passes. That being the extent of our business for this first and momentous occasion. Do I have one more comment here? If you'll push your button, I can turn your mic on. Mr. Blackard.
Mr. Rollins, can you come to the speaker? Do we need to talk about the transferability of the TIRZ?
Yeah, I don't know. That
would be in the developer agreement?
Yeah, it's a detail of the developer agreement.
Okay.
If we have a question on it, then we can talk offline. We can further escalate it.
Yeah, and so the developer agreement actually doesn't come to the TIRZ board. It goes to city
Between
council.
city, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can, if we have any questions, we'll reach out. Okay, there being no further business then, thank you all for being here and for witnessing this in the audience. We call this meeting adjourned.